Hello, welcome to Library Connection. I'm Mandy Cantrell, Youth Services Director at the B.B. Comer Memorial Library here in Sylacauga. Before I get started with our program, I want to thank TV47 and Robert for all they do to help us put this program on, and I hope you enjoy it today. Today, one of my friends, Amy Brooks, is here. She is a coach facilitator, and let me get this correct, with the Alabama Department of Early Childhood Education.
That's correct. You got it.
But you know, Amy, she's from here, and I'm so glad. We're going to talk about pre-literacy strategies and things you can do. So I'm excited to have you here today, Amy.
I'm excited to be here.
Right. I know you know a lot about this subject. I know we can talk about it. But tell about yourself if there's anybody that doesn't know you.
Well, as Mandy said, I'm in Sylacauga. I taught in the Sylacauga City Schools for 16 years. I've been an educator in the education system for 20 years now. I left the classroom a little over a year ago to work with the Department of Early Childhood. And as she said, my role is a coach facilitator, which means I go into pre-K classrooms to support the coaches. I do have a couple of classrooms where I support the teachers as well, but my primary role is to support the coaches that go into the classroom. So my dad has kind of nicknamed it the coach of the coaches, I guess is a great way to put it.
That's a good way to put it.
But we like to think about the parallel process. You know, our teachers, our coaches are with our teachers as we would like for our teachers to be with our students. So now our department has added another layer where we have coach facilitators that can be with our coaches and, you know, create that relationship that we would like for the coaches to have with the teachers and the teachers to have with the students.
Oh, that is great. So y'all are covering it very well, all of that.
Yes, we
That's
are.
wonderful. We all need somebody to talk to and bounce ideas off of.
I like to call myself just a thinking partner. You know, like you said, to bounce ideas off, you know, just troubleshoot, talk through something. Have another set of eyes is always great in the classroom. And that's one of the beautiful things about First Class Pre-K is that all of our classrooms do have coaches. And it is wonderful to have a coach, you know, think through and problem solve things. So I'm happy to be a support for the coaches that support so many teachers across the state.
And you have been in the pre-K classroom. You taught pre-K for several years, is that correct?
Yes, I got to teach pre-K at Indian Valley for 4 years. It was like my most favorite time. You know, this age is just so exciting and so impressionable, and they're just so ready to learn, and they remind you of the joy of the everyday moments. You know, there's a lot to be said for that. So it was a tough decision to leave the classroom, but I know that in leaving the classroom, I'm able to touch more 4-year-olds than I was in the classroom. So yes.
The pre-K program is so good, and we're going to talk some more about that in a little while. But I called Amy about doing the TV program because a few weeks back, maybe a few months back, Tracy Thomas, our director, sent me an email about watching a webinar about pre-literacy skills and how to help parents learn those. They're things that we probably know, but it was nice to have them in an order, and that's kind of what I want to talk about a little bit in just a few minutes. But these skills are to help children get ready to read. Not reading, but things they know to get ready to read, and that's kind of what pre-K is all about, ready to read and ready to learn.
That's exactly right. And there's so much more. We hear ready to read, and so many times people think that's knowing letters and sitting and doing worksheets and, you know, things like that. But there is so much to be said for everyday life. You know, I believe a reader is made in the lap of a parent. And, you know, with just reading to your child from the very beginning, I think is the best thing you can do to get them ready to read.
How early should all these start?
As soon as you have a baby. You know, singing nursery rhymes, you know, lullabies, just everyday language. And then as they're able to sit in your lap and look at a book with you, you know, bring in that everyday language, connecting it with print is very powerful.
It is. Well, I'm going to jump right in, and I brought my list of the skills just so we can kind of go over them one at a time, and I'm going to read a little bit. These are wonderful things. You know, I like to think I did some of these with my children. Like I said, it's nice to have them written down. The first one I want to talk about is print motivation, the joy of and interest in reading books. Now, for me, at the library, I brought a few books to bring to kind of show about that. Where the Wild Things Are is one of my favorite books because it's fun to read. You can roar your terrible roar and all that kind of stuff in the book. I enjoyed reading this to my children because I enjoy it. So hopefully that made them say, oh, reading can be fun. And maybe you have a little boy or a little girl who really likes trucks. Well, how fun to read a book about trucks, learn the names of trucks, look at pictures of different kinds of trucks. So hopefully that helps children see that reading is fun and you can read about things you enjoy.
Absolutely, to follow the interest of your child and connect it with print, you know, knowing what excites them, what they want to learn more about, and then finding the books that you can bring home to bring those learning aspirations to life is a really great way to get them ready to read.
And to make it fun.
Yes.
It's not, okay, we have to sit down and read for 10 minutes.
Right.
Just to make it fun. That was pretty neat. Some of the things that parents can do is to model the fun of reading. Like I said, reading books that you can use different voices, that's fun. Keeping the children involved and nonfiction. And I know have a nice area like sitting in parents' labs. You said that's the first place to learn to read. All those things are a lot of fun, and helping children learn that reading can be fun.
Yes, a nice comfy spot to read a book is always great. Our pre-K classrooms have a reading area. Every classroom is required to have a reading area, and one of our guidelines is to have some soft seating, maybe pillows or bean bags where a child can get comfortable with a book, because a book is something to be enjoyed.
Right, good. I'm glad y'all are doing that in the classroom.
Yes.
I knew you were. I forgot to ask you about that, but that's pretty neat, just that it's fun. And every time you read to a class or somebody reads to a class or read to your own children, you're choosing books probably that you like and you want to share with them. The next one is print awareness. This is just knowing that print has meaning and knowing how to handle a book and recognizing print in the environment.
Yeah, I think this is one of my favorites. There's so much that parents can do with this, you know, riding in the car, pointing out McDonald's and Walmart and, you know, the signs for your town, the sign for the library, you know, there's the library. And then, you know, getting them involved at home with grocery lists, helping them choose the food. Recognizing the container labels, recognizing certain brand names for their toys. You know, you can let them help make the grocery list, cut out the things from food magazines that they would like to have on the grocery list. Give them little clipboards, you know, let them go in the grocery store with their own list. If you have boys, you know, parts of a truck, you know, help them label the parts of a truck, label things in your home, create treasure maps. You know, there's just so many things to help them see that print is necessary in their environment.
Oh, that's a great list of ideas. I like just knowing that print is related to something. Like you mentioned McDonald's. Every child knows the golden arches.
Yes.
That's not really something to read, but every time they see that, they know that means McDonald's.
Correct.
So learning, like environmental print, learning words and symbols and things associated with something, that means something.
Yes.
That's great. And without even telling your children, if you read to them, I think they're going to know, you know, this is the front of a book. Do we read it like this? No, we don't.
Right.
We read it like this. We read from left to right. We read from top to bottom. So just, you don't really have to tell them that. Just an example when you're doing it. Right. We're going to pause for a commercial break and be right back and talk some more with Amy.
Home making you sick? Moisture and unsafe air from your crawl space can infiltrate your home, causing health hazards and high utility bills. Ox Foundation Solutions can remedy any mold or mildew problem in your home. It's time to get strong. How strong? Ox Strong. Get a free estimate from Ox Foundations.
Coosa Valley Medical Center, one of the top 10 hospitals in Alabama, is also Sylacauga's largest employer. Services from the emergency room to surgery to cancer treatment to post-stroke care. You won't believe what's right in your backyard. It's Coosa Valley Medical Center in Sylacauga. So, if you're sick in Alabama, choose one of the top 10 hospitals in Alabama. That is Coosa Valley Medical Center.
Marble City Pharmacy in Sylacauga is your destination for the highest quality health care. Our knowledgeable pharmacists are always available for questions about your medications or advice on taking over-the-counter products and supplements. Our friendly staff can assist you in choosing from our full lines of compression hose and medical equipment. And don't forget our gift department. We have a great selection of unique gifts for every occasion. Stop by and see us today. Marble City Pharmacy, here for life.
Hello, welcome back. I'm talking with Amy Brooks today, who is a coach facilitator with the Alabama Department of Early Childhood Education. I got that written down just right. Good, good. We're talking about pre-literacy skills, things you can do with your children when they are preschoolers, when they're very young, to help them be ready to read when they begin school. We talked about a couple of, we've got a lot to say. Let me get right on. The next one is narrative skills. That is retelling stories, retelling events, and adding descriptions. So
Yes, and the best thing, you have the perfect book for this.
Three Billy Goats Gruff.
The best thing we can do is keep repeating the same stories. You know, sometimes you're like, oh, you want to read this again? I remember thinking that when the girls were younger, but this helps build those narrative skills and those retelling skills, and then you're adding the voices, and then you'll find them redoing the story in their dramatic play. You know, I remember after reading this in the classroom, outside we had a big tunnel, and the boys would start getting up on top of the tunnel, and one of them would be the troll, you know, under the bridge, and the other ones would go across. And it's just because we read that, we were excited about it in our classroom, and we read it repetitively to help build those narrative skills.
Oh, that is awesome. That's great. I was thinking too, you know, who goes first? The littlest Billy Goat. Next is the middle size, and that's great. I love the dramatic play though. That's fun. You know, they've got the story.
Yes.
Just some other things that parents can do is maybe, I guess when Dad comes home, tell him about your day. Well, you know, this morning we went to the grocery store, and then we had lunch, and then we did something else. It's also kind of fun if you're reading a book and you get to a page and you say, tell me what you think happens next. Make some predictions. So they've listened and they have an idea. It doesn't matter if it's right or wrong. Just it's their predictions. So a lot of fun. And expanding their descriptions of things. It's not just a goat. It's the littlest Billy Goat Gruff.
Right, and that helps, you know, repeating the same stories, because then you can focus in on different aspects and the vocabulary that goes along with it.
So how fun. That's great. The next one is vocabulary, since we're just talking about that. That's knowing the names of things and understanding the meaning of words. The book I chose is Click, Clack, Splish, Splash. This actually is a counting adventure, but it has pictures of animals. And so you would say they're chickens, they're cows, they're pigs and sheep, things like that. This would be for a really young one to actually name the animals so they can point to them and name them.
And then, you know, just having conversations. That's the biggest vocabulary builder, I think. You know, we talk about ready to read. It's not always just having a book. You know, everyday conversations, talking about your day. If it's a word that you think your child might not know, you just add the definition, you know, in. Oh, I had to quickly go to the store. Quickly means Mom had to go a little bit faster than usual because we were running behind. And just bringing those, you know, words like that into everyday conversation. I think about the Billy Goats Gruff. I think he's a ginormous or gigantic, gigantic troll, and so you can just talk about how that means really big, and the biggest Billy Goat Gruff, like you said, you know, before. But just having those conversations with your children to build those vocabulary skills.
That's great. They need to know a lot of words to start to school, because when they begin to read, I think it's easier to read a word if you've heard it before.
That background knowledge.
If they've never heard gigantic, then they might not know what it means, but having heard it, that'd be great. Now we're down to what most people think about, letter knowledge. Knowing letters are different from each other, that the same letter can look different, and that each letter has a name and relates to specific sounds. I guess that's generally what we think of when we talk about learning to read, and it is part of it. And we have a lot of books about learning to read your letters. Chicka Chicka Boom Boom is one of them. A told B and B told C. This has small letters, capital letters some, but I know I had a teacher come in one time. Her child was about maybe 3 or 4, and she said, we have a lot of books at home that teach ABC, but I wanted him to see some more, just to see them maybe in a little bit different font, I guess we would say, maybe, you know, a little bit different. So that was fun.
And you can always, you know, it's more than just recognizing a letter. It's, you know, kind of going back to that print awareness, that it is, speech can be recorded into print, and that's, you know, these symbols represent sounds, and we put these symbols together to form words, you know, especially like when they learn their name. And so
Yes.
having books like that and just making it more fun rather than, you know, a flashcard. Have the letters in the bathtub, make them in the sand, build them with sticks, you know, and especially focus on letters that are meaningful to them, like the letters in their name and the letters in, you know, the names of their family members, because those are going to have the most meaning to them. So when you have books like that, you know, oh, this is in your name. You know, you remember seeing this letter in your name? And so just making those connections and making it exciting, and just letting them see that it's a part of their everyday life and world, and not something, you know, that they have to sit down and memorize.
Right. I mean, I think we all had magnetic things on the refrigerator. While Mama's cooking, they're making, you know, playing with them on the refrigerator.
My girls are 17 and 15, and I still have a few of those letters on there because I just can't separate from them completely.
Fun. How fun. That's okay. I think they still enjoy it. Now, the last one I have is phonological awareness, the ability to hear and play with the smaller sounds in words. And I love Seuss books for this because they rhyme. Green eggs and ham, would you, could you with a mouse, would you, could you in a house. Everybody knows. If they've heard the story, they know because they rhyme. I love these.
And you know, the rhyme and alliteration builds success in the primary grades for those decoding skills that early readers need. And so yes, just making it fun. Any of those silly rhyming songs. I know we used to sing in school tootie-ta, tootie-ta.
Yeah.
And then we would go and put an M in front of it, you know, moody ma, moody ma. And then, you know, you put an S, and just manipulating those sounds and noticing that they're different. And then letting your child notice, you know, if their name is Mark, oh, it starts like McDonald's and Mommy, you know, just bringing those things to their attention, playing silly games, you know. Somebody's coming over today, and it might be Banna, Fanna, Nana's coming over, you know, just changing the sounds and letting them guess the name of who's coming to the house.
That's
you know,
fun.
simple everyday things.
Yeah. And that's fun. That's everyday fun things you can do. And then pretty soon the kids will be doing it too. That's great. I remember when my girls were little, somebody came in the classroom and taught Pig Latin. I don't know if you ever.
Oh no!
And that was pretty fun. It's moving the sounds around, you know. So they didn't really realize, oh, we're learning to move the sounds around, learning those. They just thought it was fun. Because if I could talk Pig Latin, maybe, you know, my mother couldn't understand me, or, you know what I was saying. But that was a lot of fun. Another way just to play with the sounds. And if you've ever read the book Runny Babbitt by Shel Silverstein, it's funny. Runny Babbitt is Bunny
We're going to
Rabbit.
have to look that one up.
It's a great one. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Well, those are that's, I guess, the skills that I had, the pre-reading skills. I know there's a lot of other things you can do to get ready to read and to get ready to learn. And this is a lot of what y'all do in pre-K.
Oh yes, you know, absolutely. The parent is definitely the first child, and so all of these things that Mandy talked about are just ways that you can get your child excited to read, so that when they do go into the classroom, you know, the teachers are going to help foster this and follow your child's lead and make sure that we have books that interest them. We're going to play rhyming games. All the silly songs that we sing on the rug usually have a purpose, you know, for alliteration, for rhyming, syllables, all of those phonological awareness skills that Mandy talked about. Because the big thing, we just want them ready and excited. You know, we don't want reading to be something they have to do. We want it to be something that they choose to do. And it used to make my heart smile in the classroom when I always had a full reading center. You know, we have blocks, we have art, we have all of these things. But you as a family and us as teachers have made reading so exciting that is still something they wanted to choose to go to every day.
Good, I hope so. And you don't have to own a lot of books. It is wonderful to have books in your home, and there are ways to get those free, other things. But we have tons of books to
Yes,
check out.
I was telling Mandy earlier, one of my favorite memories to get my girls excited to read was the Library Summer Reading Program. And we'd buy the bags every year, and I think the max checkout was maybe 10 to 15.
Oh, yeah, 20 maybe.
20. Yeah, I
Right.
wasn't going to say 20, but I thought it was. But anyway, we would max out the number of books that each girl could check out. And then we would just sit in our floor and we would read, and they just loved it. And there was something special too about getting the books from the library, because they're always, hardcover books. They have the pretty plastic covering, so they felt a little fancy. I think it was maybe more exciting than the books that we had at home. And then I think it also taught responsibility, how to take care of books that don't belong to you, and make sure that we're turning the pages carefully, make sure that we're putting them back where they belong, and then we're returning them in a timely manner so that these books can be shared with somebody else.
That's great. Thank you. Boy, you taught your girls a lot. That's wonderful. Just coming to the library.
Yes.
We're going to pause for a commercial break, and we'll be right back and talk some more with Amy.
Home making you sick? Moisture and unsafe air from your crawl space can infiltrate your home, causing health hazards and high utility bills. Ox Foundation Solutions can remedy any mold or mildew problem in your home. It's time to get strong. How strong? Ox Strong. Get a free estimate from Ox Foundations.
Coosa Valley Medical Center, one of the top 10 hospitals in Alabama, is also Sylacauga's largest employer. Services from the emergency room to surgery to cancer treatment to post-stroke care. You won't believe what's right in your backyard. It's Coosa Valley Medical Center in Sylacauga. So, if you're sick in Alabama, choose one of the top 10 hospitals in Alabama. That is Coosa Valley Medical Center.
Marble City Pharmacy in Sylacauga is your destination for the highest quality health care. Our knowledgeable pharmacists are always available for questions about your medications or advice on taking over-the-counter products and supplements. Our friendly staff can assist you in choosing from our full lines of compression hose and medical equipment. And don't forget our gift department. We have a great selection of unique gifts for every occasion. Stop by and see us today. Marble City Pharmacy, here for life.
Hello, welcome back. I'm talking with Amy Brooks with the Alabama Department of Early Childhood Education. We're talking about pre-reading skills that children need. And I have a little blurb here I want to read. To me, it was just too good. It says, young children need a variety of skills to become successful readers. Experts have determined these 6 skills that we talked about, and research indicates that children who enter school with more of these skills are better able to benefit from the reading instruction they receive when they arrive at school. So to help them be successful readers, not just to enjoy reading, but to be a successful reader. These are so very important. And this is a lot of what y'all are doing in the Alabama pre-K programs.
Yes.
So tell us about pre-K. Anything more you can tell us about that?
Well, pre-K is definitely growing last year. In the spring of last year, for the 2021 school year, we were awarded 55 more classrooms in our state. So we are now serving 22,500 students approximately in our state, and we have about 1,200, 1,250 classrooms across the state. So that is really exciting. We're definitely in a different time right now, and it's just, as all school systems are navigating COVID, so is pre-K. We're supporting our classrooms with whatever guidance their school system is giving them, making sure that things are developmentally appropriate. So we do have some classrooms that are virtual because that's what their school system has decided. But we put out a roadmap to make sure that the parent is the first teacher. We don't want our 4-year-old sitting in front of a screen every day. Wow. So we're providing social emotional connections, gross motor activities, literacy activities that are sent to families virtually every day. We're making sure that the teachers are reaching out to have a live 2-way communication every day to build that school community. And it's important that our little friends see their teacher's face every day.
Yes,
it's really hard to start a school year when you're only meeting your teacher behind a screen, but we're doing our very best to make it work. We're also having family activities that we share, science activities and math activities once a week, and just trying to help the parents see the learning in everyday life. Maybe math is, helping cook supper and counting out 5 scoops of water to go into the pot of
Right.
pasta, and then having those conversations, building that vocabulary like we talked about earlier, letting the child read a story and playing a rhyming game, all of these pre-literacy skills. But just trying to make it part of the everyday life, because we know this is also a difficult time for families as they have many students that they're trying to do virtually. But we will get through it, and First Class Pre-K is, pressing on, and we are proud of the work that our teachers are doing across the state.
That's great. I think it's wonderful involving the parents so much. I mean, you have to when they're 4, but still,
Right.
what parents are gaining from
Yes,
this too.
I feel like we've always believed that the parent is the first teacher, and this year we're really, we're really having to depend on that. And I really think it's helping bridge the gap between school and home like never before.
wonderful, yeah.
I know last year in reflecting with teachers after we went through school shutdowns, a lot of the things that they learned about their families and ways that they could communicate with their families and activities families could do, they said that was something they wanted to bring into this school year.
Oh,
So
that's
that was a beautiful thing to see that could come from all of this.
Good is going to come from this,
That's
and we
right,
are going
that's
to
right.
get through it.
We will.
I think so. Well, that's great. Well, when we shut down in March, I started doing some online story times, and I'm continuing to do these, and I'm in the middle of doing some highlighting each one of these 6 skills. Just a little quick blurb to parents at the beginning, and then reading some fun books. So just go to our Facebook page or our website, or you can find them on YouTube reading. And I'm also reading books to adults, which is kind of fun.
Wow.
You're never too old to be read to.
No.
I don't-
I miss people reading to me. Isn't that why we listen to, books on podcasts and things like that?
I
Because
think
we
so.
enjoy being read to as well.
We do. Well, that's neat. Well, let's see. I think we've covered everything. Just be sure as you're working with your children, like you said, remember the parent is the child's first teacher. That is so important.
Yes.
I think, and I think a lot of people don't realize that.
And just enjoy the everyday moments. I think sometimes we get so busy in the hustle and bustle, and we think, like you said, we have to sit down and be doing school or doing reading, and there's so much to be said for everyday learning, just life in general, and just soaking up those moments and keeping these things in the forefront of your mind. I think, you've definitely raised awareness of parents that, hey, when I was singing that song with my child, I'm actually teaching them this, this, and this.
Right.
So, keep doing what you're doing and enjoying your children is the most important.
And come to the library and check out 20 books if you want. If you want. And if you're not comfortable getting out and coming in, I know COVID is hopefully getting a little better, but it's still here. We have a drive-through window, and you can just call. I can choose some books for you, or somebody at the library can, and we can leave them in the drive-through for you. That's been another thing we've added. Which
Just
has
like
been
having your own
wonderful.
personal shopper, right?
It is. It
The
is.
bookstore.
Oh, and it's so much fun, especially the kids I know choosing books for
Right.
them.
And it's free.
Yeah.
And it's free.
Absolutely free. Yes, you are so right. Well, Amy, I appreciate you coming in today and talking about this. This is so
enjoyed it.
important for kids, and this is what we want to help with at work, at the library, and what you do
Yes.
every day.
Yes.
I know.
Thank you for having me. I really enjoyed talking about this, and hopefully we encourage families to read with their children.
I think we will. Well, thank you so much for joining me on Library Connection Day, and please do come see us at work. Come see us and check out some books at the library. Thank you for joining us today.